And here we are. Who are you, women, crazy women that are hanging out on a webinar, learning things instead of sitting in front of Netflix and doing nothing? I want to know who you are. Where are you from? Please share. We have a little chat over here. So go ahead and just post Poland, Turkey, Argentina, wow, London, UK, Colombia, woohoo, Albania, France, Vietnam, Denmark. Wow, we are all over the world. That is so amazing. Welcome. Well, I'm in LA just for the last couple of hours and then heading to Seattle for brain training. So this is my last couple minutes. And I was like, I really wanted to squeeze in this webinar. And the reason is, as you know, we do a lot of biohacking courses, and our way of giving back as a team is we always kind of condense everything that I teach into a webinar for 1 hour. This is our way of giving back, teaching women that don't have access resources. Maybe they're unsure, maybe they have never heard of biohacking, and maybe they're like, I don't know what she's talking about, she's a little crazy, she's telling me all the things that I've been told opposite. I need to learn. So here we are. This is make the most of it. I know you're probably doing other things, so maybe not. Who's doing something else? Raise your hand. And who's just actually just sitting there and watching this? Either way, make the most of it. You have an hour of my time, and I know we don't value things that we get for free, but make the most of it and take notes, ask questions. I'm here to share with you everything I know about hormones. I wish someone told me all of this. I wish that was taught in school, and it didn't take years of trial and researching and kind of like doing all of that. Me and my glasses, hello. And so I'll explain why I wear the glasses in a second as well, because this is all linked to hormones and moon syncing. Real quick, has anyone ever been experiencing any hormone imbalances in your life? Raise your hand, say hello. We probably don't even realize, we think of hormone imbalances, so at least I did, as like, oh, I missed my period, or I am PMSing or whatnot, where in fact, like, even cravings are a great sign of hormonal imbalance, right? So whenever you have 4 p.m., you're like, I'm really like hungry and like I would have some chocolate. Well, that's hormone imbalance. Hormones ghrelin and leptin. It's kind of the yin yang of your appetite. One is the hunger hormone, the other one's just the satiety hormones as well. So if one of these hormones is off, you're gonna keep eating. I don't know if anyone can relate. You're not hungry, but you keep on eating. It's because your satiety hormone is out of whack, right? And you just kind of feel like, dang, like I just can't stop the moment I sit down. It's better for me not to have dinner, because if I start, I can't stop, right? That is all hormones, right? Glucose, right? Cravings as well, aging of the skin, the missing period, PMSing, another thing. I keep hearing, you're PMSing, why don't you just have another type of ice cream or have the chips? It's normal. It's not normal. Actually, eating processed man-made carbs will make your period much worse. And that's what we need to understand as women, and we need to claim our power back. And one message, if you need to go in 5 minutes, I want you to just remember one thing only. Your hormones are not your kryptonite. We've been taught, she's PMSing, she's fucking crazy, baby brain, she's not very reliable, or like unpredictable, crazy bitch, whatever we've been told, we have been taught, okay, hormones are kryptonite. It's something that sucks, and it's so much easier to be a man because men hormones are kind of the same. It is not true. It's the opposite, actually. It's your superpower. And we're here to understand what is our superpower. I always we're like the unlikely hero in a way, that Superman, where basically you don't realize how powerful you are because you've been taught that you don't belong, right? And you're like on the wrong planet, men run planet. But once you realize what you can do with your hormones, if you adjust your lifestyle and workouts and fasting and whatnot, you're going to be like, oh shit, that is actually crazy. So you have different advantages depending on which part of the cycle that you're in, and we're going to play to that advantage, and we're going to make sure that you will crash in life, because the goal isn't to biohack and obsess about what you eat. The goal is to live your best life, to make shit tons of money, to really enjoy it, and like without shame, without guilt, without being, you know, put in a corner as like, oh, she's greedy, or she's not spiritual because she wants to have a comfortable life. I'm like, no, comfortable life, having a home, being able to afford healthy groceries is your birthright. It's not being greedy, okay? And so let's just get it out of the way. Yes, PMS is premenstrual syndrome, right? So it's basically a number of symptoms that you get right before your period, and it's anything from getting moody and bitchy and hangry, and feeling like you want to eat an entire fridge at once, mood changes and whatnot. Okay, so let me just like pull up my presentation that I got ready for you. It's not my greatest one yet, but I kind of just want to talk to you for now first and make sure that we are on the same page. If you have any questions, like if there's one burning question that you have coming in here, please let me know. I want to just make sure that I get to address them. So again, you're not gonna leave here feeling like, oh, she didn't answer any of my questions. So if you have a questions, please post them right now. I just gotta have an idea of what is it that you're expecting from me. Best tips for period pain. Great. Period pain, again, if you have experienced period pain, hormone imbalance, which again, I didn't know. How do you cycle sync, how to manage stress hormones. Perfect. So yes, someone knows there's more to hormones than just sex hormones. They're so progesterone and testosterone and estrogen, whenever we think hormones, these are called sex hormones because they're produced in our ovaries and they are specific to our sex, because, you know, different for men and different for women. Oh. All right, there we go. I'm opening my presentation and I'm just going to share it. Thank you so much. Share screen. You ready to see the worst presentation on the planet? Great, because I was trying to do it myself. And let's just say biohacking is my forte, but design isn't. Okay, so definitely the graphic design is not my my strength. So this is basically what we're here looking at: how to balance hormones, finally understand them, and not have hormonal issues. That is a very okay. Cool. I'm just reading your comments. Da 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 da. All right, let's just say anyone doesn't know who I am. So just real quick, one of the first female biohackers. You know. Founder of a supplement company, book author, and yeah, we have already thousands of women in our biohacking courses, and honestly, we have had incredible success in success stories. And this is my promise to you. We want to understand why you're struggling. And this is who the webinar is for. So if you're a woman in her 20s or 30s, if you're experiencing hormonal imbalances that manifest as such symptoms such as fatigue, weight gain, mood swings, skin issues, acne. Anyone has acne here, let me know. Dry skin or like aging skin. You feel like, fuck, I'm aging way too fast. I look, you know, I'm 31, but I look like I'm much older. I'm guessing that you're likely educated, but slightly overwhelmed by the overload of information available on health and fitness. Who is tired of traditional route, or who has tried traditional routes for managing symptoms like birth control medication, fad diets, but it never lasted? Raise your hand. You are motivated and ambitious, but you feel like the hormonal issues are the roadblock for personal success. You're open to alternative methods of treatments, and we basically want to have as little damage, so to say, as possible. So everything we're doing is very natural. It's a lifestyle change. I'm not gonna tell you, take this, you know, medication and whatnot. And someone, Carolina says, I'm tired of taking up to 5 paracetamols while on my period, right? It has a big effect on your gut. And again, gut is what metabolizes hormones. So it's kind of like a catch-22. You're helping yourself with the pain temporarily while managing your gut, damaging your gut, and then your gut in reality actually just causes more hormonal issues. if you're in your 40s and you're struggling with hormones, you're in the right place. Because I think another way of why we basically are struggling as women is, you're not meant to start your menopause until late 50s, right? So if you're in your 40s, you should be still a thriving woman with a very regular period. If you're not, progesterone issues, and this is what we're here to dive in. If you're looking for personal guidance, and again, this is guidance, this is something for you as a woman to basically take charge of your own health. And then you take that information and you sit with it, listen to your gut, go to your doctor and check with your doctor. The problem is a lot of our doctors, their go-to is to basically give you medications, right? So it's not like we're avoiding medications. Sometimes they're really necessary. And I'm not saying don't go to your doctor, quite the opposite. It's more for you to understand what to ask, because doctors don't have time to sit you down and explain what estrogen is. They assume you know it from school, from your parents. Meanwhile, you don't. So this is just for you to know what's happening in your body. Women that usually I work with, they tried the mainstream starvation diets, they tried the advice, and they don't see any long-term results. They still feel hungry, angry, hangry. They feel like something's wrong with them. They're constantly struggling. So yeah, they're here. So welcome. I love Carnival Aurelius, and I just like literally saw this a couple of weeks ago, and I really want you. Can you guys see both screens or not? Let me know if you can see both. Yes, perfect. Okay. So, you say you go to the doctor and you say, I have acne, and he says, like, great, here's the pill that will ruin your liver, is associated with depression, will ensure you don't fix your diet and fix the root cause. How many times anyone has been on Accutane? I have been twice in my life, because that was literally what the doctor said. I'm like, well, you have skin issues, let's just damage your liver. Liver is so important for women. We detoxify through liver. So our liver is like this what would be like the factory that basically turns all the toxins that we're constantly bombarded with and cleans it out. If you make it tired, or if you make it like fatigued in a way, it's not going to work really well. So yeah, you're not going to have acne issues, but for the rest of your life, you're going to be struggling with detoxifying toxins. And when when you're full of toxins, you will never lose weight. You will never have good energy, and you'll never feel great. So yeah, that's the crazy part. Okay, if you're an average person and you use body washes, shampoos, deodorants, even tap water, right? And I'm not here to scare you, but you and I are exposed to 168 toxins a day as a woman. 168 toxins. No one knows the long-term effects of all of this. But what we do know, a couple of things we know, that high toxin levels leads to infertility. We know that the diet that's low in nutrients leads to infertility and hormonal issues. And that's why if you go to the website, you'll see this this moment from Good Will Hunting. Anyone has seen Good Will Hunting, the movie? Have you seen the website? Because it was actually really cool. So it's this scene, Matt Damon's character is basically had a really, really tough childhood, and he's a total troublemaker. He's just constantly in trouble. And Robin Williams is the therapist, and he comes up to him and he's like, hey, it's not your fault that, you are the way you are. He's like, yes, I get it. And he's like, no, it's not your fault. And he's like, yeah, I get it. He's like, it's not your fault. And he kind of starts crying. It's like 2 minutes where he basically trying to let that information sink in. It is not his fault that what he's going through. And again, there's one message from me to you, is that it's not your fault. If you are experiencing any sort of issues, let me just see if I have a list of all the issues. Can you read it, and can you let me know if you are experiencing any of these issues? PMSing, acne, weight gain or gain fluctuations, heavy periods, painful periods, irregular periods, right? So if your period's not on the dot at like 27, 28, 29, that's a regular period. Energy crashes, anxiety, bloating, 100%. Well, so that's the funny thing. These are hormonal issues, and they are very common, but they're not normal. And, you know, this is a very tricky word. There's an amazing book called The Myth of Normal. And it basically says, it's about how we, just because we are all going through a collective trauma, just because 90 or 80% of women struggle with hormones, it doesn't mean that that's normal. It's very common, but it's not normal. Normal in a way, healthy, thriving, right? I don't believe, you know, I'm not super religious, but I don't believe God created us for us to struggle, and for us to go to almost die once a month, et cetera, et cetera. Yes. And then there's dermatosis, PCOS, which are actual, you know, medical conditions. So that's another topic, obviously. But these are just like symptoms that we as women are being taught that are normal, you know, just like, hey, no, yeah, this is your before your period, right? So you're craving, you have mood swings and whatnot. And I am 2 days before my period, and I don't have any of this, right? Like oftentimes my period comes, I'm like, I just know it's going to come, but I'm like, oh, it came. Okay. I didn't really feel it. When I go and do things, not what I'm about to teach you, oh my God, I cry, I get overwhelmed. I feel like, you know, I'm not being myself, et cetera, et cetera. So these things work because I know that if I don't do them in a month, I feel much worse. Yeah, I mean, obviously anxiety, someone says anxiety and depression. This is not like, you know, if you have anxiety and depression, it's a very, very serious condition. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's just hormones, right? It's all linked to your gut and brain and whatnot. This is just an idea for you to understand like what happens with hormones. So if you are struggling with any of this, I just want you to remember this is not your fault. And let that really, really sink in. And I really hope you kind of understand that we're here to come back to your birthright, which is thriving, feeling great, and whatnot. And so this is just basically how I perhaps see you, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I know you want to feel energetic, fit, and healthy. I know you health conscious, and I know you prefer natural remedies over pharmaceuticals. So you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be sitting on a webinar on a Sunday. You could have just popped a pill and be like, whatever, I don't care. But you're here, and I know you know that, you know, there is a root cause of all of this. And, you know, you can just say, hey, weight gain, you're, you know, just like it is what it is, just eat less, run more. But I know deep down, you know that there's a root cause of that, because there are people that eat a lot of food and they don't gain weight. So how come? Well, it's the hormones, right? I know you don't want to keep feeling out of sync with your body. I know as a woman, we're like herbalists. We're like, you know, I always like to think, you know, from spirituality, we're just a little bit of like goddesses, witches. We want to be in sync with our body. We want to know what's going on. We want to feel like we are thriving. And I know how frustrating it is. And you probably, who's frustrated with the bloating, the cravings, the skin issues? Who feels like they're completely, you know, have no sex drive, right? Or they feel like, yeah, that sucks. And frustration is a great feeling because it brought you here. That's amazing. But I know that feeling, and I know that feeling when it's like, fuck, I'm broken. All the other girls are skinny and have like, and look hot, and how come I don't, you know? And I posted this cute photo of me, but you know, like I would get so bloated and feel like, oh my God, I'm just gonna be a bigger girl. Well, no, this is me eating 3,000 calories, just having my hormones regulated. And so I really want you to remember, this is my story. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to make this webinar super long. But, you know, I was a chubby child. I had my hair falling out. Like, that's just understand. Like, if you think, oh, I have it bad, like, look, yeah, hair loss, patches. My hair was falling out in patches. I was like brushing my hair and like almost in tears. I was like, I'm going to be bald in a second. My skin was terrible. I was depressed as fuck. And I was like, what do I do to regulate my hormones, right? This is me bloating to the point that my stomach was hurting, like the skin stretching was hurting, right? And I just looked old. Like these are photos from 4 years ago now. I was 30, 32. Now I'm 36 in 2 weeks. So yeah, I was frustrated. I was like, wow, I used to be known for my hair. I used to be known for being like this energetic person, and I'm not. So, you know, I'm showing you the before and after because I want you to understand that on the left, the person on the right, uh, was eating way more food, right? And it was uh, not stressing so much and was just enjoying her life. And this is the person I always wanted to become. And I know I didn't think it was possible, but it is. And I really want you to remember that anyone who looks like me on the left, the before, anyone can see herself. Do you see yourself with me on the left a little bit? Silence. Yes. Okay. Couple of people. Okay. And so just want you to remember, please, this is just a sign that you were at the beginning of your hero's journey, right? You're on the left. Take a photo today, look at yourself before and be like, fuck, this is day one. I always post the same photos and people are like, why is she posting the same photos? Because when I looked like this on the left, I didn't feel like taking photos of myself, this was just like, oof, like I was hiding whatever. It's funny because it's obviously now I have way more photos when I feel great about myself, but this is just the before and after for you to understand that, yeah, it is possible. And take a photo of yourself today, say me, before, and start the journey. Today's day one of your journey, and I'm here to fucking cheer you on because you deserve it. Deserve to have a beautiful skin, deserve not to have dark circles like I did, and deserve to like just have a body that you feel great in and energized, like looking fit is a side effect, right? It's how you fucking feel. Like you have so much energy. So funny, the other day I might just call my fiance to confirm, but I stayed in bed because our air conditioning is broken, so we didn't sleep very well. It was so hot. And I was like lying in bed getting out, and Jacob's like, oh my God, this is the first time in years that I've known you that you didn't jump out of bed. You always like, because I wake up and I'm like, ta-da, I'm up. And I don't even drink coffee anymore. I just have so much energy.
I can attest to that.
You scared me.
I can attest to it.
Yeah. And so thank you guys. Yeah, so it was the first time he was like, wow, you actually stayed in bed for 5 minutes. Like, who are you? Because it's like, it's the energy. It's the main goal of why we do what we do, because you want to have energy to be the person you were meant to be, right? Like to make your ideas happen, your talents, share them with the world, share them with your family, just be the playful, full of energy person, like the one that dances through the day, right? Thank you so much for for all the wishes. We have, if you go to Trustpilot, it's a separate website. You can check our reviews. You can see that what I teach is legit and it works not only for me, but for other women. So, if there's one course, please do it. So it's like, it's legit. All right. I know what your pain is. You don't want to spend money on another diet. Most of the things I teach are actually don't require you to spend more money. It really doesn't. It's more of a lifestyle change and more of an awareness. Learning, once you know it, you navigate through the world all by yourself. Yeah, and we want to learn how to balance hormones without spending ton of money, taking medications, none of this, da 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 da. And okay, so this is a couple of things that I teach in the course that I want to share with you right now. Number one, hormone hierarchy. Anyone has heard that before, that not all hormones are created equal and there's a hormone hierarchy and some hormones are more important than others. And no, nope. Okay, so never. I know. So here's the thing. We have over 50 hormones. When we say, oh, our hormones are out of whack, we often think of the sex hormones, but they're oftentimes at the very bottom of the pyramid. What does it mean? That if you can't really fix your estrogen, progesterone, all the sex hormones that you have without addressing all the other ones at the top. So right above the sex hormones, we would have glucose, right? If your glucose is out of whack, it will have impact on your sex hormones. Above glucose is, anyone knows what's more important than glucose in a way? What will override glucose? Stress, correct. So cortisol. What does it mean? If you're stressed, if you didn't sleep very well, your sugar will go up. So air conditioning's broken, hot in the apartment, we're trying to sleep with a fan. I barely slept, you know, it's super hot. And so I don't sleep very well. I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I really want my oat milk latte right now. I need the coffee, right? To wake me up because I'm like, ugh. I need the sugar because what is your body thinking when you don't sleep? Your body is not thinking, oh, air conditioning's broken in her West Hollywood apartment. No, it's like she didn't sleep. Well, it's dangerous out there. The cortisol level is up. It's not safe. She didn't sleep very well. So we need the sugar to keep her going. She might have to run from the tiger, which makes total sense, except it doesn't really work for us, right? The body's like, well, I don't have the energy to keep her running. I need the sugar. I need the glucose. If I have the sugar, my glucose will skyrocket because my cortisol is high. And that will lead to screwed up hormones. So it's not only the sleep, there's many ways to regulate your hormones. I mentioned about coffee and drinking it first thing in the morning. I share with you which kind of like DNA test to do to check what kind of gene we're looking for to see how sensitive you are to caffeine. And if you're not, I do say like if you can have caffeine after breakfast is a little bit better. And the reason is that you basically don't want to have caffeine first thing in the morning because it disrupts your natural cycle of the cortisol. That's basically it. And what is more important than cortisol and more important than glucose? Anyone? Let me know. No. Okay, so oxytocin. Yes, perfect. So oxytocin, anyone knows what oxytocin is? If you ever gave birth, this is the very hormone that floods you when you basically about to have a baby. The love hormone, the cuddle hormone, the snuggle hormone. And you know, there's this very cheesy line, okay, no more than five hugs a day. But it is very true, right? Having a pet, spending time in the sun, grounding, etc., etc. What does it mean? That if your oxytocin level are high, anyone has ever been in love? Say yes in the comments. Anyone's been in love or had a baby or a pet? And you know how you like when you're in love, you're like, oh my God, I'm not even that hungry and I'm feeling great and I'm so patient. I'm not stressing the small stuff at work, right? Right? It's the oxytocin, right? So the oxytocin make you feel all wonderful and it overrides all of these hormones. And it goes the other way as well, right? So if you, for example, if you're going through a difficult relationship stuff, if someone from your family passed away or is sick, your oxytocin level might be very low. And then the stress hormones will be up. And so your sex hormones will be out of whack. You know, we live in a society where we live by ourselves or with our partners, but not close to our families, not with children of our sisters and cousins and whatnot. Which means that we basically lack human touch, right? Like especially in the Western world, you don't really see that when you travel around the world. You know, when you go to Bali, people sit next to each other arm to arm. In the Western world, what do they say? Fucking crazy, personal space. You know, personal space. That's it. So all of that has impact on your sex hormones, and sex hormones can be impacted by diet, fasting, and whatnot. But I want you to understand that if you're not addressing cortisol, if you're not addressing insulin, if you're not addressing oxytocin, it doesn't matter. Your sex hormones will be out of whack. And that is really important. These are the phases of the menstrual cycle. Anyone, I'm sure you're familiar more or less. I wasn't, definitely wasn't taught in school and wasn't celebrated and whatnot, but these are the menstrual phases, right? So who knows I'm not going to say, who knows what's when, what's winter, what's spring, what's summer, what's fall. I can't actually kind of say here, so maybe it's a silly question. So our winter is our menstrual cycle, right? So the first day of your menstrual cycle starts the 7-day period. And this is basically where we try to go keto and we eat red, lots of good fats, lots of meat, we stop fasting or like slow down fasting, at least for the first couple of days, and we do more like gentle exercises. This is not a time for you to push yourself. And it's also time to connect with yourself and your intuition. Because we live in a world that celebrates extroverts. I don't know how many of you have is extrovert, how many of you is introvert? Can you post? Let me know who are you? Introvert, extrovert. Okay, so I'm something that called an extroverted introvert, which is basically half and half, because I need both. I recharge by myself, but sometimes I recharge with the right kind of people. And what I love about living according to my cycle is there are like periods for me to go introverted and extroverted. So ambivert, yes, both. So this is really, really beautiful. So in a world that celebrates being an extrovert and just being always out and right? Instagram always there. It's really beautiful. I don't know if you even noticed that, like when I get on the first day of my cycle, I actually never post on Instagram. This is time for me to like go in and inwards and celebrate, because we get the most amazing insights. Like the best ideas I ever created for my business has happened when I stopped listening and stopped giving out and then just went within, right? Which is a lot of people, you hear like all the most successful people do that, but then when it comes to you, still like kind of expect yourself to do the same thing every day. This is the difference between men and women, right? So look at the male hormones. Every day the same. Testosterone would in the morning and then it goes down. Women ebb and flow. And in reality, this is what happens, right? So this is exactly, look how many hormones, look how hard it is to navigate them, right? It's crazy. Like depending on look what's happening day 13, that goes up and down. Like no wonder every day is different, right? If you're doing the same thing every single day while these hormones are just going, of course you're not going to feel great, right? Because you're not supporting the right kind of hormones. So let's go back to here. Living according to your cycle and doing all of that is really, really important. This is just a really quick summary. Follicular phase is basically when you're getting ready for your ovulation, and we basically push our fasting. This is our superwoman time. This is time for us to get ready. When I was recording the hormone challenge for this, I recorded it like on my ovulation. I was like, I really want to just like make the most of it. You don't work out before your period. I do. I'll tell you in a second. So yeah, this is time to start new things, to put yourself out there. This is the extroverted time. Then we have ovulation for 3 days, which is basically we kind of almost go raw vegan and kind of like cool down our body temperature. Like we have the heat, especially if you did Ayurveda, you would know. And then right before the period, not right before, actually 2 weeks before the period, that's luteal phase, but it's divided into 2 different sections. I'll go into detail a little later, but this is a time for you to like, okay, slow down the fasting, introduce more healthy carbs. Have you seen my reel today? Anyone has seen the reel I posted? Which basically like the good kind of carbs. Yes. So butternut squash and sweet potato and white rice, grains if you choose, but it's not time to have pizza pasta, because that will make you eat it, make it worse for you. I want you to just remember this as you can, right? I hope you do screenshot this. This is, this is a good start. This is also super, super important, right? And my next question would be, what happens if I don't have my period? Anyone doesn't have their period? And my invitation is still live according to your cycle. Just start. Your first day of your period is going to be the first day of the full moon. So you just look up when it's the next full moon, and that's going to be the first day. New moon. New moon is going to be the first day of your cycle. I have it the opposite, but I'll tell you, we don't have time to explain why different women have different timing, but on the new moon, it's going to be the first day of your cycle, which is coming up in about 9 days. And then you just continue 28 days. If you have IUD, if you don't have your period, if you don't know where your period starts, you start on the new moon, please. Okay, so anyone has any reservation whether biohacking could fix their hormones? And if so, what are they? Let me know. And this is a little bit of a secret, but the truth is the mainstream advice is based on studies paid by Big Pharma from the 1980s. The latest independent research is very clear. PCOS, endometriosis, IBS, SIBO, and wonder it's all linked to our diets. It's linked to the very things that get promoted by the mainstream fitness experts, smoothies, and sugar and whatnot. This is Jessica. Jessica also like just slightly, eating in the right order, managing her glucose and whatnot. And it is amazing to see the effects of Jessica. Anyone knows Jessica? All right, so this is yes, she's the best. Okay, so in the Hormone Challenge, you get the pre-recorded videos. It's all recorded, and I want to like discuss what we share there because I think it helps me explain to you what else it's missing from this. So this is where we basically get to understand all the hormones on day one. And then on day two, we dive into what are endocrine disruptors, what screws up our hormones, what's the lifestyle that has impact on that and whatnot, how to understand your cycle, what's the ideal diet for hormonal health, no more calorie counting. We're gonna understand what low toxin diet is. Then we have day 4, which is detox, how to detox your liver, eliminate seed oil. So basically support our body so we don't have issues with hormones. Then we talk about gut. We have a whole day about gut. Gut is super, super important, very often overlooked. If you go to a doctor and you say, I have hormonal issues, and your doctor does not mention gut and your nervous system and your vagus nerve, change a doctor, So these are very, very different, and it's like a holistic approach to everything that's going on in your body. So if you have never been taught this, then that's exactly the reason why, doctors are taught like, okay, I'm gynecologist, so I'm looking at this, I'm not asking you what's your gut and what are the lifestyle changes. Meet your cycle, and then we basically talk about the gut nervous system connection and the hormone connection and how linked those things are and how to support your nervous system. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in your body. If it's dysregulated, you're going to have hormone issues as well. Then we actually meet our menstrual cycle and we dive in. So every day there's like a menstrual phase where I tell you like what kind of sex is best, or maybe no sex. Workout routine, fasting regimen, what's the ideal diet? Yes, you get a meal plan. Then you meet your follicular phase, your ovulatory phase, and luteal phase, and thyroid hormones. Yes, so we basically, I didn't want to there's some surprises that I also don't really want to share or sell, so to say, because I want you to like do the course and be like, oh, surprise. But we have the best thyroid hormone expert, Dr. Isabella Benz, and she agreed to be our special guest on the challenge. So she's the best expert. So I was like, I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to reach out to her. And she said, hell yes. She's also Polish. So I'm super excited. And someone's asking, love Isabella. Yeah, she's the best. Deliverables. And yes, so you get a little meal plan. These are not the screenshot, but you basically get a hormonal meal plan for 28 days. PDFs, you get 20 pages every day of like summary of what we're doing, which is very, very exciting. And yeah, we basically, the challenge is $199. And the reason is, why is it so much cheaper than Fit as Fuck? Fit as Fuck, we have way more experts, definitely way more in depth. This we basically wanted to have everything specifically designed for hormones. So Fit as Fuck is like the challenge, how to lose weight, how to dive into biohacking. It's like introduction. There's definitely way more information in there. Here is like the summary of what's the most important for you and your hormones and how to understand living according to your cycle. And Fit as Fuck, there's only one day. of hormones and living according to the cycle, this you have basically 10. So we are working on translating the course in Polish. So I believe that in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be translated. We have our translator who's working very hard on it, but I can't promise it's going to be ready for the 25th. So I don't want to say anything, but hopefully it will be. Yeah. So if all this course did was to make you understand how hormones work, would it be worth it for you? I think it's a very fair question to ask. And yeah, how soon can you expect the results? I feel like in the first few days, if you apply a few of the principles, you already see the difference. But obviously, the more cycles you are able to dive in and adjust your diet to see, it's like kind of like a gift that keeps on giving. For me, doing it for years, I see even more benefits over time because it compounds. The code is Goddess. If you choose to get $100 off, so 33% off, is the code is Goddess for my goddesses. So the challenge is $299 down to $199. If this resonates with you, if this feels like, okay, I'd like to learn more, this is really interesting, it will impact your weight. If your weight gain is due to your hormones, which most likely is, then you will lose weight. There's no other way, right? And it's like there's also like the psychological reason of, you know, the way we put on weight because we don't really feel safe, and that is often due to our stress hormone, right? So understanding how to relax ourselves would be super, super important for you. But yes, insulin, if your insulin is high, your ability to lose fat cells is blocked, like impossible. So I can stop eating and putting myself insulin and I will not lose weight. Will you recommend supplements in the course? Yes, we do recommend supplements. We also, I don't know if you saw my stories, but I hired the best supplement basic formulator in the world, Sean Wells. It's very, very expensive. And I said, I want you to create like hormone supplement for women that's never been done, that will really regulate your hormone. And that was 3 months ago. And he told me how much he charges. So I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, fuck it, let's do it. I'm like, I might not be making money on this, but it's like my gift to, you know, to the world, to like have a really epic supplement. He created it. So I got to meet the supplement last month, and now we're just in the process of production and sourcing the ingredients, which takes about 2 to 3 months. But you just wait. However, with that said, supplement 20% of your success, maybe 15. Everything else is lifestyle and diet. It really, really is. And these diet and lifestyle changes that don't have to make you spend a lot of money. Quite the opposite. It's just understanding what does and what doesn't. What about doing the course on the pill? Yes, we talk about the pill, what pill does, you know, pill ultimately, I'm not here to get you off the pill. I just want you to understand what the impact of the pill is. And I would, regardless whether I'm going to have a period, even if I'm pregnant, I'm like, I will still want to live according to a cycle because it's a nature cycle and the moon cycle. And I think that makes me feel more connected to just life itself, to the life force. How to stop the pill and be safe, especially if you just start a relationship. Probably not the best time to, you basically, as you'll see when you have like a good tracking, that the window, the red time when you can't have sex, it's just going to be, for example, 3 weeks at the beginning when you don't know your period and how regular you are, but it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's like 3 or 4 days. So great question. Someone was like, is this just exercises or is it just me talking? So it's divided. It's me explaining what a cortisol is, what it does, what it helps, da, 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 da. Then we do like a little test. You get to do like a yes or no. And we're trying to figure out how high your cortisol is. And then you have actionable homework. So for every thing, it's like 20 exercises of how to actually do it, lower it, introduce changes. So they're very, very actionable. And then you have a test for every day. So every day you have a test asking you if you actually remember everything. So we put way more time and effort into homework this time over other courses, which were more informative. And here I'm showing how to do dry brushing and gua sha, and kind of like understand how to really be a self-sufficient woman when it comes to supporting your hormones. What about perimenopause? Yes, it's regulating your hormones. It goes beyond you being in your 40s, 100%. I'm already bought it and I'm super excited to start. Amazing. When will I stop taking the pill, and when do you think my hormones get balanced again? It really depends. If you stop taking the pill and you continue with normal lifestyle, it's going to take you forever to get adjusted. I'm talking from experience because I got off the pill and I just felt shit. I didn't know what to do. And if I was getting off the pill now, knowing what I know, it wouldn't take me as long because I know what I'm really supporting, that I need my B vitamins and whatnot. Is there a meal plan and workout exercise for each phase? Yes, there is. So you basically have a workout plan and a meal plan for 28 days. So it's 10 days of me teaching, and then depending on when your cycle is, you start introducing those changes for 28 days. What causes the clots rather than blood during? It really depends. So there is a little test that helps you understand if your period is quote unquote normal. We kind of help understand what different colors of the periods and texture mean, whether it's low progesterone or high progesterone or whatnot. Loved Fit as Fuck. Definitely going to join this challenge too. Thanks for going over the breakdown of the course with us. Congrats again. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you. I'm so glad you love Fit as Fuck. I dare to say it's almost, I don't want to say it's better, but it's like, it's definitely, after a year, it's been a year since I did Fit as Fuck, and I knew how I want to improve this one. And I know I'll keep improving both Fit as Fuck and this one, because it's just like, I just keep on learning. And once you're in, you're in. Since you're in a different time zone, so it's all pre-recorded. You get access to the app. You watch it. There's an app for you to download. It's called Kajabi. It looks like a little bit like Netflix. I can even show you real quick because I have other courses here. So you basically have Higher Self Academy here, and I just go to Fit as Fuck on the app. App is free, and I basically watch the videos like this, right? So if I want to watch, and the videos look like this. So it's much easier to watch if you're at the gym, if you're walking the dog, because there's a summary of each one of those videos in case you don't remember which one to go. There are downloads, right? There are recommendations of what hormonal tests to do with your doctor, blah, 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 right? So this is basically what the course looks like, right? Video and of course I think it's really easy because then you can do it at whichever time zone, and you get access to Queen Circle for a month. You can jump on a call with me every 2 weeks and ask hormonal questions like this. So that's already included in your price. It's usually $49 a month, but you get it for free. I heard you can gain weight by excessively exercising in the wrong phase of your cycle. That is very true. Yes, we will talk about it as well. The app, you get all the information how to access the course once you buy it. The app is called Kajabi, but don't worry, you get a lot of emails explaining what to do when. And yes, a lot of studies are linked there if you want to have further studies, of course. Is there a discount code? Yes, Goddess is the discount code. It's 33% off with the code Goddess. So it's literally a third of the price, just because, again, I just want more women to be synced as fuck. I almost called it sync this fuck, but I was like, okay, maybe there's a lot of swear words. Code Goddess. We start on September 25th. So we start in exactly 2 weeks. I'm going on brain training in literally 2 hours, which I have to run. I'm going to Seattle, and so I won't be available to do webinars. This is the last webinar I get to do. And so, yeah, I thank you so much for tuning in live. This meant a lot. There's always a little perk. if you join the course, we will give you a discount for supplements as well. We'll give you 50 or 20% off. I just have to talk to my team what's doable, maybe free shipping, but we will definitely take care of you if you join the challenge. There will be a separate special discount for the course members, so you can really just kickstart your journey after the summer. If you had an eventful summer, then that's going to be a great start. The code does not expire. This is at least not for this week because I'm going to be away. So whenever you're ready, do it. We might raise the price next week, but for this week, it's goddess. If you see me watching on Instagram, that's it. I love you so much. Go crush it. I hope anyone found it helpful, or was that a waste of your time? 50 seconds. Okay, yes. Perfect. Oh, thank you. That means a lot because I'm always a little nervous. I'm like, maybe you guys know all of this. Thank you. Alexa, Martina, Alexandra, Laura, Pearl. Wow, amazing names. Catalina, Magdalena, thank you. I see you. Thank you for educating yourself. Thank you for being just like a different woman. That really means a lot. I have more sisters to have fun with. It's amazing. I love you so much, and I'll see you on Instagram. Mwah!